Adam, $3.60. Let's look at the replay, and the story was that Northern Drake on the outside, ridden by Grant Cooksley in a great Derby trial, was too strong for Dodge, and you'll find him running, I reckon, for sure now next Saturday in the AJC Australian Derby. Dodge took the field up to the tearaway. Adams weakened there into third place. Surprisingly, though, he held on pretty well to hold down third money. But truly, the winner was too good, Northern Drake, and he's now won 4 in a row on Sydney tracks, and he goes on to beat Dodge, and I don't think there could be many excuses. And in third place in an excellent run was Adam, and officially fourth was Il Don. There's the head on there, the red cap, that is the winner, Northern Drake. In the Cerise inside him, which we've now lost, that's Masterful Lad, you can see there in the black and white colours. He doesn't figure in the placings, but that horse does. That's the winner, Northern Drake, by Varick from Elizabeth Drake, a British mare. And, well, as I said, an exciting colt, 4 in a row. Capable of showing up in the Derby. Won't be the favourite, of course, in the Derby when he's got to take on the Ace Company, but he's certainly got prospects. I see Grant Cooksley has now joined our clerk of the course over there, Simon Marshall. Simon, you might be able to get a chat with Grant.
Yes, Kenny, and terrific win, Grant. Terrific win, Grant. This horse, he doesn't really like the ponies, actually, Kenny, but he's getting ready for a Derby prep now, Grant. Getting ready for the Derby prep, mate.
Yeah, you know, he'll improve on this run, and hopefully he'll be hard to beat in the Derby.
He hit the line strong?
Oh, he did. You know, they went along quite quickly, you know, and relaxed lovely and got the line good.
Just quickly, mate, Paris Dream in the Golden Slipper. You're drawn beautiful today.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get a lovely run and prove hard to beat.
You confident, mate?
Yeah.
Good on you, Cooker. We got a smile off G. Cooksley after winning on Northern Drake. Back to you, Kenny.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. You sure did. He's a man of few words, Cooker, but what he says is usually well chosen. And for him to say that Northern Drake has got a good chance in the Derby, you can bet your booties that he has got a good chance next Saturday in the Blue Ribbon at Randwick, the AJC Derby. He certainly looks as though the 2,400 metres of the Classic won't worry him. Okay, as Grant Cooksley brings Northern Drake back to scale, let's take another break and then be back with more of the wide world of sports.
And the closing stages of the Perrier Tulloch Stakes. Fantastic ride there by Grant Cooksley. Northern Drake just too good. Dodge putting on the pressure. Adam running out of steam, but very beautifully ridden race indeed there. All goes well for a little later on this afternoon in the big one around 3:50 p.m. Race number 3, there it is. The Divs, number 1, Northern Drake, $2.40 and $1.40. 6 paid $2.60, and Adam, number 5, $3.60. The Quinella, $9.20, and the trifecta, $124.50. Okay, the attention of the golf world turns to Augusta this week.
He was billed as the greatest 2-year-old since the mighty Luskin Star. On the strength of his first up win last October and a scintillating exhibition gallop in February, it's not hard to see why.
Back 200 out, and Shovhog exploded to the lead. Shovhog raced away, about 2 lengths in front, crossed over, racing very greenly in second place. Statement, followed by Isla Tan, but Shovhog is going away from them in the Aurora Plate. They say he's one of the best 2-year-olds in Sydney to this stage, and he's won, pulling up by 4 lengths, Shovhog.
But the highly priced Shovhog enters the slipper with a reputation battered by 2 losses in Melbourne and another just 10 days ago in the Illawarra Classic.
It's splendid horse in front. Shovhog stretching out, but much too late. Beautiful ride. Lenny Beasley and Brian Guy, the trainer. Splendid horse. 3/4 Shovhog. Shovhog disappointing?
Well, I don't think he was. He might look disappointing looking at the race because he couldn't pick the winner up, but I thought his run was good. You know, he fell $1 million.
Both Shovhog and stablemate Glacier have drawn disastrously, but the latter, a half-brother to Yippee-Yo-Yo, settles back anyway.
Sarah Bailey won't give up. She's fighting back. Capwin having another crack at the Marigo, getting the rails runner Glacier storming down the outside as they hit the line. Oh, he might have still got there, a Glacier.
16 years ago, Chavog and Iglesias owners Jeff and Beryl White combined with trainer Jack Denham to win the Slipper with Masqué. Now that same team is in the hunt again.
Jack, it's 16 years since you won the Golden Slipper. You're overdue. This might be the one?
Might be the one. We're hoping in here.
Another Golden Slipper moment, proudly brought to you by Amy.
And of course, Jack Denham's chances of winning the Golden Slipper today took a backward step when both Iglesias and Chavog drew very poorly at Tuesday's barrier draw. Race 4 on the card is a Group 1 race, for 3-year-old fillies, the Ansett Australia Stakes of 2,000 metres. The Hot Pot from Melbourne in the Kingston Town colours is #1 Kensington Palace, $2.20. Champagne, $4.40 of the New Zealand filly. Only a Lady at $8.40. She'll run better today. On Air, trained by Anthony Cummings, $9.70. Gliding Light, $53.70. Bonanova, $12.10. Zashaline, $16.10. Nova Diem at $32. For the moment, $26.90. Massawa, Ruffy, $54. As we go over the page, Platonic at $23.10. And the Ruffy of the field, County Miss, at $260.50. As I told you, one of the big chances On Air is trained by Anthony Cummings. Here's Anthony with Simon O'Donnell.
Anthony, On Air, some stiff opposition today with Kensington Palace and also Champagne. How do you see it?
I mean, they've got the best of the form out of Melbourne, certainly. I thought Only a Lady ran a terrific race in the Coolmore Classic and would probably be the hardest to beat. I figure Kensington Palace is probably looking for a bit further, and changing direction, I think, is a weakness in her form for this race. My filly and Only a Lady are both heading in the right direction. They're on a roll here, and their form is quite strong, so I'd be surprised if they didn't fight out the finish.
Did I get a little hint from you then that probably spring might be even more up On Air's alley than what the autumn has been?
Oh, I think so. I mean, she's a late maturing filly. She didn't race at all as a 2-year-old, so the best of her form is yet to come. But still, she's on a game right now. She's running up to her best, and she will be competitive. All the best. Thanks very much.
Anthony Cummings, an informed trainer, and one of the informed jockeys of the autumn carnival, of the Easter carnival, is the man they call the Big G. I'm referring, of course, to Greg Hall. He's already won 2 Golden Slippers, and if you listen to this cocky character, he thinks he can win a 3rd this year. Anne-Marie Sparkman caught up with the Big G.
Nobody likes centre stage more than the Big G. The bigger the race, the higher the stakes, the more Gregory Michael Hall revels in the spotlight. He has already won 2 Golden Slippers, in '93, then in '96, out-muscling the opposition to get Merlin over the line.
And Merlin is going to score a magnificent win in the Slipper.
But even this happy-go-lucky larrikin admits to nerves before the 2-year-old dash for cash.
There'll be plenty of thinking that day, Anne-Marie. I mean, I sort of get a little... Slipper Day is no different every other year to me. I'll be very edgy come Slipper morning. I can assure you, you wouldn't like to be around me.
It has been a lucrative autumn for Greg. A classic ride on Coup de Grace and the Sires Produce.
Front end, Coup de Grace wins the Sires.
And an upset victory with Daimler in the Blue Diamond.
Daimler's in front place, and it's Daimler for the Blue Diamond.
Yeah, there's 3, not too bad, eh?
Not too bad for an old boy.
A couple of seconds. Well, they keep saying I'm old, but a bit like wine, me. Just took them a while to get me out of the cellar.
Hawley is now 41. Last year, some dared to write off the Big G. Now the ebullient hoop has reinforced his reputation as the big race specialist.
I know a good answer for it is keep winning Group 1 races. Oh, that does shut them right up, I can assure you.
The slashing win in the Blue Diamond was also a perfect opportunity for Greg to remind the master trainer, Lee Friedman, just how successful he is with the horses Damien Oliver rejects.
I'm enjoying it, you know. Lee's not overworking me. He pulls me off the bench, makes me play the ball hard come grand final day, and I mean, I love it. I think it's fantastic, you know, and I'm not stable jockey there, but I'm happy not to be, because my strike rate with Lee Friedman over 5 years is incredible.
Hey, mate, pick up the crumbs and turn them into loaves of bread, son.
I want to vomit when he starts that stuff, because you can't get into the track to ride track work unless you chase him up, and he turns up and he does a bit and he usually gets it wrong, and you know, but you got to give it to him in big races. It's pretty damn good.
The irrepressible jockey has an uncanny habit of pulling the right rein for the Freedmans. Back in '92, his career was at the crossroads. Despite the natural talents and the endearing personality, the word was out that Greg Hall was too fond of a big drink and too unreliable. He was pressing the self-destruct button until it all turned around with wins on Superimpose in the Cox Plate and Sub-Zero in the Melbourne Cup.
And there's two special people out there I want to thank, that none of this can happen without them, and that's my lovely wife, Kimmy, and I love you, darling, and Nicholas. She's beautiful.
Now life is complete for the tearaway with the arrival of baby Cassie 10 years after son Nicholas.
She's gone past me now. I was number one in the house, but she's raced straight past me, haven't you, darling?
Oh no, both my babies are number one.
She's a bit of a gift though. She's IVF baby.
IVF baby, yes. So thank God to the Monash IVF. They've been fantastic. Professor Leighton and everyone, they were great.
Well, it was springtime, Anne-Marie. I was a bit busy, mate. I couldn't be getting around to that sort of stuff then, mate. I had to be focused on my racing, you know, so...
Sent to the lab.
Straight to the freezer, mate. Just as easy. Saves any problems, doesn't it?
There's still 5 in the freezer, so he's not worried.
We don't need you anymore,
and you know how particular I am, mate. I like to be neat and tidy and that. I don't like all that messy stuff, you know. So, she's right now, my girl, isn't she? She can just go and help herself.
Cassie was intended to be a Melbourne Cup baby. She arrived the day before the big race. The next afternoon, her veteran dad and that great champion, Doremus, almost did the impossible.
He didn't put his hand up, I thought he had it. He doesn't usually do that. He's usually pretty right, but I think the emotion of the moment got to him, I think.
She got very excited. There were some photos of her.
Very awful.
She jumped higher than me, I think. You know, I mean, I wasn't happy at the time, but I thought, no, you know, if you put it in Olympic terms, you know, you've won a gold on Sub-Zero and you've won a silver on Doremus. So, you know, I've been a pretty lucky boy in Melbourne Cups, really.
Shattered but philosophical, Greg headed to Macau for a riding stint, but he didn't stay long. Now, with the autumn riches, his decision has been vindicated. He's riding better than ever before. At 50 kilograms, the envy of the other jockeys as they sweated out in the sauna.
If you'd seen my diet, Anne-Marie, you wouldn't be very impressed. It's pizzas and hamburgers and...
And these poor other jockeys would be drooling.
Well, they can't believe it, and I just drink litres of Coke.
Confident, content, Greg is hoping to add to his impressive tally of 44 Group 1 winners today, giving Danelaw a good chance.
She's a lovely, relaxed filly, and I expect her to get home and win again. Why not make it 3, mate?
What is it about him on the big days, do you think?
No idea. It's some voodoo spooky thing about him. He just seems to get into the right place at the right time and arrive at the right time, you know, so he must have a sixth sense for it or something, because I don't think he can explain it either.
But while it keeps happening, the Big G will keep riding, refusing to talk retirement for at least another 4 years.
Yes, mate, it's as good as it gets, mate. I'm a bit like old Jack myself. I'm getting better with age.
And Greg, of course, as you heard him say, is riding Danelaw, and it's got an excellent chance. I bet you won't be bagging the jockey after the race. He'll give Danelaw her hope, as he did in the Blue Diamond when she rang up number 1. Now, what is the slipper betting? We've been up to have a look at Colt Tidy's board. He's been betting on the slipper all day. In fact, he's been betting on the race for about 4 months. These are his latest prices. Laurie's Lottery at 3 to 1, which is a $4 return for $1 investment. Paris Dream, $11 or 10 to 1. Coup de Grace, 16 to 1. 12 to 1 Iglesia. Prowl out to 7 to 1 now, $8 return for $1. Speed Week at 20 to 1 chance, been well backed. Be up near the lead all the way, Speed Week. Splendid Horse at $16. Chavog, he's eased in the market, the one-time 5 to 2 favourite, $13. Medals $151, should be $251. Minimal $81. Manana well back today into 6 to 1 solid, $7 return. Danelaw very well back today as well. The same price, $7. Rubicor, the 16 to 1 shot. Marty's Magic, 200 to 1. Glamis at 33 to 1 or a $34 return. Compulsion at 14 to 1. Brilliance and Confer, of course, were not required. That's the story on the slipper. But at the moment, we're concentrating on the Group 1 Ansett Australia Stakes, and Simon O'Donnell's with me now, and we're going to look at these horses in the enclosure. Number 1, of course, is in the Kingston Town colours. She's from Melbourne. She's trained by Simon's mate Lee Friedman. Her name is Kensington Palace, and there she is.
Yeah, she's she looks magnificent in the mounting yard. She's nice and relaxed. Her form is excellent leading in. Her and Champagne have been the two quality fillies of the autumn down in Melbourne. We're going to see whether they can keep up that good work here in Sydney.
She's a
great
strong
chance.
horse, isn't she?
She certainly is. The first time going around this Sydney way of going, so that's probably in detriment when you then think of Champagne, and in New Zealand is race both ways, clockwise and anti-clockwise. She looks an absolute treat too, Ken.
Is that right that Kensington Palace is going to run in both the Derby and the Oaks?
Well, that'll be interesting. I haven't spoken to Lee about it, but you would think that...
it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's got to be a possibility.
Anyway, let's turn on to Champagne here. She dead heated with Kensington Palace in the Moonee Valley Oaks last start. She's trained by Laurie Laxon. A few moments ago, Simon had a chat with Laurie Laxon.
Laurie Laxon, the trainer of Champagne's with me. Laurie, she's just done a great job since coming over from New Zealand, down in Melbourne, and now here in Sydney. You're looking for her to do the same?
Yeah, I'm very happy with her, Simon. She's travelled up to Sydney well and settled in well out at Warwick Farm, and I couldn't be more pleased with her condition.
Kensington Palace, obviously the one to beat. You've fought many a hard finish already down south. Here today, you've had the experience of going the Sydney way of going. Kensington Palace hasn't. Plus, you've got a better barrier. Two pretty important factors in your favour.
Yes, that should make it interesting, but, you know, Kensington Palace and certainly, you know, can rise to any occasion. She's already a Group 1 winner, which Champagne is not, but Champagne gets her opportunity today, and I hope she can do it.
Travelled up okay, and you're happy with everything for today?
Yeah, very good, very good. Track's good, weather's good, and people are kind. It's good.
And the check won't bounce or anything like that coming from here? It'd be nice to have it in your pocket.
Oh, well, it just... would be nice, Simon. Yeah, it'd be good. Two great fillies, Kensington Palace and Champagne, and of course you've got also Only a Lady has won the Flight Stakes. That's Group 1. It's going to be a good race.
Laurie, you've done a great job with her, particularly in New Zealand and here in Australia. All the best today.
Thanks, Simon.
Good interview, Simon, and with the man who's already trained a Melbourne Cup winner in Empire Rose, Laurie Laxon. Number 3, as Laurie said, has a chance here too, and there she is, Only a Lady. I think she's starting to look right now.
Yeah, interesting. Her great run, obviously, in the VRC Oaks, but look, I just think that you know, she's a horse that has promised a lot. It's now time to put up this preparation. I expected probably a little bit more from her, but this today, Kenny, you know a bit more about it. She's looking spot on. I'll take your judgment.
Okay, and there's On Air. She's probably the other main chance. She spoke to Anthony Cummings. She looks bright and healthy, and might just find these a bit flash for her.
I thought she might. And Anthony hinted in that interview that things will look better for her probably in the spring. She's quite an immature type of horse, and he thinks there's better things ahead of her.
Okay, and as the horses go onto the track for the Group 1 Ansett Australia Stakes, we'll take a break and then come back with all the action on the wide world of sports. Ready for the Group 1 Ansett Australia Stakes, and jockeys are always right on the ball, ready for it, for the big ones, the Group 1 races, and there's one coming up. Shane Dye is riding a relative roughie in Zaccaline, but if horsemanship means anything, he'll get a home. Here's Shane with his tactics.
This is really going to be a tricky race for a Group 1. On Air's drawn 9, and I've got no doubt she'll go forward, and she could even lead early. There's just no pace in this race. Champagne's drawn barrier 1. It'll go forward. Now, I'm on Zaccaline. She's going to go back in the race. Now, the horse we've all got to beat is Kensington Palace. She's got a bad barrier, but it won't matter with her because she needs a bit of room. She'll go back. This race will begin at the half mile. A horse like Champagne will be right there looking to get in the clear. Now, Kensington Palace, he'll pull her about 5 or 6 wide, and it won't matter. He's just got to get going. Now, Damien's got to worry about the pace, whether they're going slow or too fast, but I think they'll be going too slow. So he's got to take off at the half mile. You watch for him charging around. If I want my chance to win, it's only going to be late, but I'm sure Kensington Palace is the horse to beat.
Yes, and the tote punters think she's the horse to beat too. Let's look at this tote update. Kensington Palace at 280. She's the favourite. Champagne at 360. 720 for Only a Lady. She's been backed in the ring as well today, expecting an improvement. On air, $8.10, $34 plus for Gliding Light. Bonanova, $11.60, $16.80 for Shane's Mount Zaccaline. Nova Diam at $35.70, $28.20 for the moment. Massawa at $66.20. Platonic at $56.80, and the bottom filly, the roughie of the race, at $256.60. They're behind the barrier, and so too is Simon Marshall. Simon, how do these great fillies look?
They all look fantastic, actually. I'd just like to mention that Kensington Palace has just sweated up a little bit on the neck there. But Damien Oliver does his ritual thing by trotting her around the barriers and keeping her warm. She's mighty fine, Kenny, and Champagne as well did get led around by the clerk of the course just to keep her nice and quiet, and they seem to be the two from the pick out the back, and the last horse is walking in. Kenny, back to you, or Johnny Tapp.
Okay, thanks very much, Simon. Johnny's ready, and an exciting race, a Group 1 race, and here he is, John Tapp.
Yeah, all set. Starter coming over to release the field. Only a Lady stands in nicely. Have them on their way shortly in the Ansett Australia Stakes, and they're off and running. And one of the first out from the inside is Champagne. County Miss began well. Only a Lady going to the lead, followed by Nova Nadim. Zashaline is prominent soon after the start. Gliding Light wide, right off the track for the moment, surging forward, followed by Kensington Palace getting into a good spot. A fair way back is Bonanova. County Miss is now drifting back, followed by Massa War as they swing into the back straight, and Platonic is dropping out to be last of all. For the moment takes over now and kicked away to lead by more than 2 lengths on Gliding Light. In third place, Zashaline, whose rider's lost his cap, followed by On Air. A length away, Only a Lady on the inside of Nova Nadim. Champagne on the inside of Bonanova. Kensington Palace getting back a bit and travelling 3 deep at the moment on the outside of Massa War and County Miss. 2 lengths away, last Platonic. The pace slackened off a bit, and for the moment led by a length on Gliding Light, a length to Zashaline. 3/4 away, On Air in a good spot. Only a Lady is next on the fence. Kensington Palace is starting a fast forward move. She was out 3 deep. Damien Oliver couldn't see much point in that, and away he goes on Kensington Palace, who races up now to join for the moment. Gliding Light in third place, Zashaline fourth, and then On Air, Only a Lady, followed by Bonanova. Zashaline knuckled over and all but fell there. Further back in the field as they come to the turn, Champagne, who'll need a bit of luck, followed by Massa War, and then Platonic and County Miss last as they come to the corner. 500 metres out for the moment. The leader got away from Gliding Light and Nova Nadim. In trouble, Kensington Palace flat to the boards, turning for home, followed by Zashaline, and then On Air, and Champagne is looking for the way out. She's into the clear now, but giving them a tidy start for the moment. Running a hell of a race at long odds is well clear. On Air getting to second, Only a Lady running on, and here's Champagne. Champagne flowing freely. Look at her go. Champagne on the outside has raced up to On Air. Champagne and On Air coming to the line, locked together. It's a ding-dong go. Champagne, On Air, Champagne. Champagne by a breath to On Air. For the moment, battled on for third. She ran a huge race. Then Only a Lady from Kensington Palace, Massa War, Platonic. Further back, Gliding Light, Bonanova, Zashaline, all but fell in the middle stages. And the last couple were Nova Nadim and County Miss in the Ansett Australia Stakes, 1998. A thrilling finish. Tremendous performance by Champagne.
Okay, number 4, 2 Champagne if she gets it. A very close finish, $3.20 and $1.50. Number 4 On Air at $2.40 and 9 for the moment at $5.30. Simon O'Donnell interviewed 2 trainers before the race. Laurie Laxon, who has Champagne, Anthony Cummings, who has On Air, and they fought it out. That's On Air on the inside, Champagne on the outside. Champagne was going to win easily at the furlong, but On Air just kept fighting back, and she made it very interesting. But when it mattered most, it was Champagne who had her neck out, and Champagne who just triumphed in the Group 1 Ansett Australia Stakes to give her her first Group 1 win. From this angle, you'll see more clearly that Champagne has just got in front when it matters, right on the post. She was in front there. On Air fought back, and as the post looms up, you'll see that she just gets the bob in, Champagne, and prevails, as you see, by about a half head. Now, on the inside, that's for the moment in the orange cap. Now, the 2 in centre screen now are On Air on your left, and on right of screen in the quartered cap is the winner, Champagne. Nothing much between them. Champagne just doing the better. On Air couldn't hold her off, and Champagne gets the prize. Laurie Laxon, the trainer of Champagne, will be happy to get this Group 1 win under his belt. He's again with Simon O'Donnell.
Thanks, Kenny. Laurie, no Group 1 about 10 minutes ago when we spoke to you. There's certainly one there for her now.
Yeah, that was wonderful, Simon. I'm very thrilled for her to get a Group 1.
And shuffled back a little bit, sort of around the 800-metre mark, started to worry you a bit.
Yeah, she had a good barrier draw, but sometimes they can turn into bad barrier draws, and she did get shuffled back a bit, and it was a pretty game effort.
Must be thrilled.
Yeah, I am.
Good on you. Well done, Laurie. Go and enjoy it. Back to you, Kenny.
Thanks very much, Simon. He's a good man, Laurie Laxon. As I said, he's already won a Melbourne Cup. Greg Childs rode the winner. Simon Marshall's an old buddy of his. He's over there with him now.
Yes, Kenny, well, Champagne, she's not really happy with the pony. She's wanting to kick him. If Greggy could yell out, fantastic win in the Group 1, Greg.
Yes, she just keeps coming up with the goods every time they're trying to knock her, but she just keeps winning.
You had a beautiful run in the race. You just had to find a little bit of room at the top of the straight.
Yeah, I got back further than what I wanted, but we found an opening at the top of the straight and she burst through.
No worries about Kensington Palace today?
No, he was out wide and didn't have a lot of luck, I didn't think.
Now, Greg Glamis in the Golden Slipper, you're drawn a little wide. Quick thought?
We'll need a bit of luck in running.
Bit of luck. Well, you got the luck, of course, on Champagne. Greg, congratulations. Back to you, Kenny.
Yeah, thanks very much, Simon Marshall. There she is, Champagne from New Zealand, a crackerjack filly, a very good filly, and she's now got a Group 1 win on the board. Her record stands at 10 starts for 6 wins, including a Group 1 win, as we take a break on the wide world of sports.
Welcome back to Rosehill Gardens on Golden Slipper Day. In a little under 2 hours, we'll know who is the winner of the Golden Slipper. But Champagne, ridden by Greg Childs, the winner of the Ansett Australia Stakes in a fantastic finish, just getting there from On Air. Magnificent ride and conditions absolutely perfect here at Rosehill Gardens. Let's have a look at the divvies. Number 2, Champagne, paid $3.20 and $1.50 for On Air by half a whisker, $2.40, and number 9 for the moment, $5.30. The Quinella, $15.90, and the Trifecta, $518.80 New South Wales dividends. Okay, Australia's cricketing odyssey through India continued late yesterday when our limited over team met Zimbabwe in the Tri-Series. Tim Gilbert follows.
From the moment he rode his first winner at age 15, Darren Beadman was earmarked for greatness. It arrived in the 1984 Golden Slipper.
Gates open, off and running in the slipper with Love a Kiss a little bit slow, and so was a Radiate, and Ravage on the extreme outside began like...
In the face of criticism, Master Theo Green had entrusted his 18-year-old apprentice with the ride on the highly fancied Inspired. It paid off with a little help from a mate.
I was travelling pretty comfortable around the corner, and Ronnie Quinton was on Street Cafe outside of me, and he said, "Don't let him go yet, don't let him go." And I was hanging on to him for all my life, and because I could have easily went too early and made my run and got to the front and probably got, walked over the last little bit. But
so you were tempted to go?
I was, because I had a horse, full of running, and I was only been riding 15 months. So Ronnie was going out the back door, and I was poking up into the race. So that little bit of help helped.
Inspired and Royal Troubadour go to the lead. Inspired is starting to draw away from Royal Troubadour. Love a Kiss and Pashenka's Gem late on the scene, but Inspired won the slipper. Inspired first, Love a Kiss second, Royal Troubadour third. Pashenka's Gem fifth.
Another Golden Slipper moment, proudly brought to you by Amy.
You looked a little bit different then, mate.
A little bit shorter locks and a little bit weather-beaten too.
Now tell me, did you give Ronnie Quinton half the winning riding fee?
No, mate, it got lost in the mail.
I'm sure you still remember the race well.
It did. It brings back a lot of memories. I was only riding for 18 months at that time, and to be able to have an opportunity, it was just fantastic.
That was 14 years ago, and just